Hello everyone, my name is Jesse and welcome back to another exciting Bakugan video. Today I have something very special. It is time. It's about time I did this. Today we have another 3D printed Bakugan and wow, that looks pretty good. Alright, you guys see that? Can anyone tell what it is yet? You should know based off the thumbnail. Oh, that's gonna be fun to paint. Wow, it's not focusing very well. There we go. Oh, that's gonna look good. I just gotta be careful with it. Camera is not happy with it. Ooh, that looks good. So I've been meaning to do this for a while. Things just haven't lined up how I wanted them to. Let's take a look at all the pieces. Ooh, look at the blue there. I don't know what that's from. Oh, I'm so excited to paint this, man. This is like my whole afternoon now. It showed up in the mail, was not expecting it, and here we go. Oh, nice. I'll have to pull up some reference pictures. I mean, look at all these little bits. That's gonna take some time. Alright, so if you couldn't tell by now, and by the thumbnail, this is a 3D printed Naga I got from someone on my Discord named Lone, who does these prints. And he was very responsive, very, very happy to do this for me, and I'm super grateful. I reached out and, pretty much set the order up right away. It was a smooth transition. He made sure everything was sanded and would fit before he even sent it out, and also provided screws. He made these like whole little kits, as you can see here, and I'm just happy with the whole process. Sometimes you ask people to 3D print stuff and it's all this trouble and stuff like that, but no, this was easy. Wow, that's a little pin. You see that, a little hole? It's probably like a neck piece. Okay, and then I think I had some spares. I'm pretty sure he mentioned that. So this is everything I need to make Naga. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do this. Now, I know it's based off Wyvern, and I do have Wyvern right here. So this is going to be the Bakugan we use to get the job done. There are pictures online I can reference. I've got some screws for the feet, which is perfect. You can see that right there. But before anything, we're obviously going to have to paint it, but I do think it's ironic that in order to bring Naga to life, we have to disassemble this poor Wyvern. I've had this Wyvern forever in mind that I'm going to build Naga, so it's just funny that after like 3 months, I'm finally going to be able to disassemble it. Like, it's just been sitting on my desk. So, yeah, I'm going to pull up some reference pictures on my computer in real time here, but they'll just pop up on the screen for you guys, any kind of reference pictures I'm using. So I'm just going to type in, like, let's see, Bakugan, Silent Naga, and see what I can get based off the show, because I'm trying to make this as accurate to the show as I possibly can, and there's not too many good photos, but this one's good enough. I might also look at the anime for certain parts, but I think I've got it for the most part. And so if you're curious, I'm going to try and do a step-by-step guide from this, but I'm going to be using these paints right here. So these are just from Walmart. They were like 90 cents or maybe 70 cents. But I'm going to use the Concord Grape and the Light Lavender for the color scheme. I think that this will be good. I tried to match the colors as accurate as I possibly could. And yeah, so I guess we're going to have to go really slow and kind of figure out what parts of Naga I need to paint and how to paint them. It seems like the feet are pretty easy. It looks like the feet are going to be relatively simple, and so I'll probably start with that and then just keep building on this. What I'm going to do now is kind of familiarize myself with the pieces and go ahead and then paint it and then start the assembly once that's dry. So for you guys, it'll be almost nothing, but for me, it might be a couple of hours. There are supposed to be some reference videos or like how to build videos coming out soon, so that'll be interesting and could be useful for myself. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and start painting so that I can get this Naga the way I want it to look. And yeah, I will be back. All right, been like 4 hours, maybe more. But I figured I'd update you. So this is what I've got cooking. This is the entire base piece, and the magnet does work. It's a little hard to see on here, but it is working, which is fantastic. Here are the feet. They do deploy and everything. I have a lot to discuss with everyone. Those were a little tight, a little nervous about those, but I think it's fine. So this is what I've got so far, plus some other pieces are currently... Oh, my mic is trying to travel. Oh, gosh. But I also have some other pieces that are, like, drying or kind of being, you know, in the works of being painted. But I have, like, stuff that's still a work in progress. This wing obviously needs some work. And then I think I'm going to maybe give this another coat. Not sure yet. And then I also haven't painted the silent core yet. I think I'm going to use a silver purple mixture just to give it some sheen and make it a little different instead of just straight purple. But a couple things. So the first thing is I took apart my Wyvern here for the feet, which had the triangle screws that look like this right here, if you can see that. And then one thing I noticed is I had to use a little bit of like hand strength to actually screw in the feet. So you're gonna have to really like wedge them in there and screw into the plastic, which I was very nervous I was gonna break it, but we're chilling. Everything turned out pretty good. So I'm happy on that front. I may end up having to open him back up now that I'm thinking about it for this hole right here in the wing. We'll see. But yeah, I have a bunch of different horns and stuff like that, and arm pieces and stuff. But I'm actually missing the horn piece here. I even reviewed my footage because I thought, oh man, maybe I lost it or something. No, this back horn that's supposed to be there is just gone. So I contacted the person who I bought this from, and they're going to send me another one tomorrow, which is totally fine because it'll give me time to edit this video and all that, and then just stick it on there at the end. So it might just look like a, oh, suddenly it's finished kind of thing when I'm working on it. But there's another wing. These wings are a bit loose. One thing I want to talk about, which I found to be very gratifying, and I don't know if this is going to show up on camera. Some areas like right here, I might need to go over again. But my thought process was, okay, these lines are really skinny, and normally sometimes I'll take some tape and or I'll paint over it and then take some tape and lift up any paint that's not in these like seams. But what ended up happening is it would stain it, and I was like, oh, okay, that kind of sucks. It just wouldn't really work. So alcohol, isopropyl alcohol is your friend here. So what I would do is paint over it really sloppily, not like terrible sloppy, but enough to be like, oh yeah, that's bad. And then I'd take a bunch of Q-tips, and when I mean a bunch, I mean a bunch. Like that many Q-tips have been used. And what it ended up doing is creating this almost like heat rash on the veins, which is nice. So like this purple color has like, in some spots, it looks almost like a heat rash, like Naga's like hurting, which makes sense with the silent core. You can really see it right there some. And then another thing is I made a mistake on the paint I was using. I'm not using that one lavender color. I'm using bright magenta. So if you're planning to copy me, don't go out and buy that violet or whatever it was, the lavender. Buy this bright magenta. So I'm using these two colors. It's Concord Grape and bright magenta. You can get them for like less than $2 at Walmart. But yeah, so I'm probably gonna go over a couple more pieces and stuff and get it all finalized. I'm part of me's nervous that if I do too much, it'll get really thick and it won't stick as well. Or the pieces will stick too much, and I don't want that. I want it to be seamless and pop open. But I'm really happy that the magnetic piece is working. I did. So if you've ever opened up a Bakugan, they have a magnetic piece that fits in here. I ended up having to super glue mine to the 3D printed part that's in this Naga because it kept popping out and sticking down to the bottom, and then all of a sudden I would be messing with it to make sure it worked, and all of a sudden like the mechanism would stop deploying, and I was like, man, what's broken now? And it was just that it was popping out of the actual plastic. And then I also had to shave these sides just a little bit in these squares to get them to work, but nothing crazy, like all normal stuff. I wish my camera is not wanting to focus today. That is so weird. Do you want to work now? Yes? Okay, I don't know what's going on. But yeah, the feet I'm pretty happy with. Again, all those lines. These really tiny details are so hard to get. But I think, you know, for the most part, I did a good job. I'm going to run back over a couple pieces, but overall assembly, I'm very happy with. I'm very satisfied with the build. It's like complex Legos or something like that. Anyways, I'm going to get back into painting, and I will be back in a little bit. All right, as you can see with the corpse of Wyvern in the background. Just pieces of her. Naga is done. So as you can see, I'm still missing that one horn. Again, that'll be on the way, and it honestly probably won't make much of a difference for you guys, but I have to wait on that. The paint job is still, I want to touch it up some, but for the most part, it's doing what I want it to do. I also got a nice silent core here. It might be kind of hard to see in this light, but I mixed silver and purple to get this weird sheen. It's not quite what my Infinity Drago is, but I think it looks cool enough, and I'm happy with it. A couple of things to note that I want to talk about through this whole process. Wings, very, 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 very weak. I don't know what's going on. They bend very easy. They're just very, they almost feel like Play-Doh, if that makes sense. And I kind of want to blame myself on that. Like, I kind of want to blame the fact that I use this isopropyl alcohol to kind of clean it, and maybe it's soaked in. And so I'm going to wait for it to dry before really handling it. But right now they're just very, like, I don't know, the best word would be malleable, I guess. This little piece that sticks into this other horn, this horn just keeps breaking. I had to replace it with another one, and it broke too. So this horn I might just glue it. I don't know. I was also messing with it, trying to get it to close. It does, like, certain parts of it are definitely spring activated. Like you can see here, the head and stuff does move. The magnet still works. It's supposed to get caught on these pieces, but I don't really know how Naga's supposed to, like, go down, because there's nothing to hook him in, you know? Like, with Wyvern or any other Naga, like, for instance, this Naga, they have, like, a little latch that's supposed to catch and keep him closed, right? So I don't really know how he's supposed to shut. It's not really a problem for me, because I'm just going to leave this guy on display. Literally like this. Like, I'll probably display him and for the most part never touch him again. Let's actually get Ultimate Dragonoid really quick. These are the boys. Season 1, episode 52, right? The fight. But yeah, it was fun. I won't lie, I had a good time painting it and stuff, and I still want to do some touch-ups. But it was fun little thing to do, and I can't wait to get that last little piece. Man, this Drago looks good. I forgot how good he looked. He doesn't work though, unfortunately. But again, they're just display pieces. I wish they worked. I wish I could get a fully functioning one. I don't feel like that's possible with paint. If I were to maybe restrict the amount of paint I used, maybe not paint the wings at all, maybe keep it just to the outer head and maybe the other areas, it'd be okay. But I wanted anime accurate, so if I ever do it again, you know, I'll definitely change it up. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of jump to, like, some nice turntable shots, and by then he'll have the actual horn in, so we'll be good in that aspect. So yeah. So as you can see, I've got Naga in ball form. This is like 3 days later after working on it. I don't know how well this is going to deploy. I have been messing with it for a long time. I also got the back horn, so that's cool. We'll get to see that. Guess let's just see what happened. Oh, it tried to focus the wrong way. It kinda he's trying to open. Good. I mean, hey, for what it is, good enough, right? Am I right? I'll explain in detail how I managed to make him operate, because if you're planning on building this Bakugan, you're going to encounter a lot of those issues. Yeah, I got the new horn in. It looks good. It's painted and everything. Boom. Get a nice close-up. What he looks like. I also added glitter to the silent core instead. I'll show that here in a second if you didn't see it. But yeah, I've learned a lot. So I'm really eager to talk about it. First off, here's that silent core. It's nice and shiny, if it'll focus. Let's see, nice and shiny. I thought it was different. I added it's this Elmer's purple, like, glitter glue. Nothing incredibly special. I just thought it was unique enough to be like, oh yeah, you know, might as well. So a couple things I did to make this Bakugan more functional. So first off, as you can see, I need something to point with. I'm gonna use this pencil here, but in this area, this is the deployment mechanism. The deployment mechanism, for whatever reason, is not long enough. So what I did is I super glued pieces of a staple onto here. So I took a staple, cut it, and super glued it on there. Super glue is your friend in this. I also noticed that this little pin right here, this small one right there, that hole, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the stress or the way it's made or it's too close to the outside, it breaks. So again, I took super glue and super glued it. And I did this on both sides, right there. So the only things you need besides the Wyvern parts are the screws for the wings, which were provided in my kit, which are awesome. And then I needed a pin here for the horns, which is right there. I needed a pin there for those horns, and then a pin for the back horn. And all I did was I took a random pin from some Bakugan I had, and the trick was, they were too long, so I had to sand them. And I literally just took them and I put them in a pair of pliers, found some low grit sandpaper, and just sanded them down until I was satisfied. And they fit perfectly. I have no complaints there. Also, you'll notice that this looks kind of scuffed right up here. It's because I put super glue and I also put staples on it to try and have it catch on the wings, because they catch under here. In this particular spot right there where this pin's at, or this pencil's at, and it is, for whatever reason, super, super difficult to get working. But after messing with him for a while, I do think he needs some paint, just because up top it's rubbing off and stuff. You can kind of see right there. It's just not the greatest anymore from the movement of the wings. But I am very happy with the way this turned out. He looks good. He looks real good. And, you know, it's not perfect. It's not ever going to be perfect. If you want perfection, you're going to have to spend multiple times on it. But let's see if I can even get him to close. That's been the challenge, is not wanting to break the wings, but also just getting him to shut has been quite difficult. I've learned if I put this on there and drop the staple pieces some and then let go, they'll push up and kind of work. They don't always catch. It's not perfect. Yeah, he's wanting to bust open. But it is, I mean, listen, I got it up that first time, so I mean, you know, it's better than my Ultimate Dragonoid or my Infinity Dragonoid or my Leonidas, right? The Leonidas is manual. But yeah, I'm glad I got this back horn. It actually shipped super fast. It got here within like 2 days. And then I think my head's a little off from a screw, but that's not a big deal. Yeah. Really happy with how he turned out. I know it's blurry, sorry. My camera's been acting weird. I don't know if it's the lighting I'm using or what. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like, drop a comment, and of course, subscribe for more awesome content. My name is Jesse, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.